One second, Shivani. I think it's still doing. Just a second.
No, I got a notification. It is live now.
Okay, 1 second. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So before we begin, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the universe, to all the enlightened masters who have guided humanity, to Brahma Shri Pitama Patriji for bringing the wisdom of meditation into our lives, to the PSSM Australia team for the opportunity, and to Anita Moorjani for courageously sharing her journey through dying to be me. I also thank each one of you for being here with an open heart. May this discussion inspire us to live with more love and less fear. I'm also grateful for the opportunity to offer this through Inner Awakening with Shivani in collaboration with PSSM Australia. So before we start the session, can I please again request everyone to please put on your videos? Thank you. As the slide shows on the screen, today's topic or the chapter name is Matchmaking Missteps. So, this is about cultural expectations, marriage pressures, and the struggle to belong for Anita. So, in this chapter, she's telling how she attempts to fit into family and social expectation, again, deepens Anita's inner conflict. Next slide, please, Chandra. No. So, as Anita entered her adulthood, the question, where do I belong, slowly started becoming another question. So, in the first chapter, it was, the fear, and then where do I belong? So, whose life am I supposed to live is the question that she was asking each time in this phase of her life. So her parents loved her deeply and wanted what they genuinely believed would give her a secure and happy future. But according to cultural conditioning, they had grown up with a daughter's futures was they had grown up with a daughter's future was closely connected with marriage. Her father was not particularly keen on Anita's studying away from home. So he worried that university would make her too independent and that too much independence might make it difficult for her to become the accommodating traditional wife expected in her community. So here is a conversation between Anita and her dad. But dad, I really want to go to university to study photography and graphic design. I insisted. If you can find a course of study near home, I won't object. But I'm not letting you live away from home to study, my father responded. But dad, you know that there are no higher education institutes that teach in English around here. I have to move away if I want to study further, I argued. That's out of question. You know very well that it is not acceptable for women to live away from home before they are married, he countered. But I'd grown into a young woman by this point, with my own strong views and opinions. Because of my education, I'd become much more westernized and in my outlook, so I asked, why are the rules different for women than they are for men? They aren't rules. They are just the way things are, and you should be proud of upholding your cultural values, my father said, somewhat annoyed by my defense. I had dreams that I had yet to fulfill, and I had a sinking feeling they might not come to fruition. So just think for a moment. Today, in this today's world, we say, educate daughter so she becomes independent, right? We all want our daughters to study and become someone. But the message for Anita was, don't become too independent because then you may not adjust. So her family values were mostly about that a girl should be adjusting and accommodating in their in-laws, family, so education wasn't that important. And here becomes another conflict within her. Because Anita did have dreams, big dreams. She wanted to study photography and graphic design. She wanted to become a travel photographer. She wanted to backpack through Europe, see the Eiffel Tower, visit the pyramids of Egypt, experience Machu Picchu, eat paella in Spain, and tangine in Morocco. She wanted to just simply see the world. However, her case wasn't helped by the fact that two of her closest Indian girlfriends were engaged to be married in arranged alliances at that time, shortly after graduating from high school. Which lady here has felt the pressure that their friends are now married? Now it's my turn. Or else, if you are getting delayed, they are gonna worry. There is a constant, thing in the family that, you should marry, 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 isn't it? And this happened in our times as well. So now not wanting to cause trouble or confront her father any further, she enrolled in a local photography course at the same time. So Anita wanted to go travel around the world and do photography. However, she couldn't because the father didn't allow. So she found a course near her house. She also knew what was expected of her: marriage, family, tradition, adjustment. So there were almost two Anitas beginning to live inside the same person. One was saying, I want to explore the world. And the other was saying, but I must not disappoint my parents. So, who's here in the love marriage? Has anyone done the love marriage? You can put it in the chat. No? No one? Okay. So, if again, if it wasn't a love marriage, have you ever wanted something deeply but stopped yourself because you were afraid of disappointing someone you loved or your parents? Did it happen? Many times, right? Yes. So, because this is where Anita's story becomes our story, that, we all somewhere face that we want something very deeply, very passionately, but we stop our emotions because we do not want to disappoint our partners or our parents or someone close who we love. Sometimes nobody physically stops us. Sometimes the strongest prison is the sentence inside our own mind. Have you ever also felt that you did not, you wanted it passionately, but for some fear, you didn't talk about it? But when you actually, end up talking, you realize that the other person was okay. They didn't, there were nothing, they didn't say, and you're surprised with the response. So this is how we need to come out of our mind sometimes, out of our fear, and go for our passions. Playing the perfect bride. So eventually, Anita agreed to make prospective husbands. And this part of the story is actually quite funny, but also revealing about Anita's life. Before meeting one particular family, she also wrote about her beautiful dress she wore, and it was a deep pink raw silk top. This is how detailed Anita's book is, that she's also telling that in that time what she was wearing. It was a deep pink raw silk top with delicate embroidery around its broad neckline. I had a fine pastel pink lace shawl with matching embroidered trim loosely draped over her head and shoulders in order to project an air of modesty. This outfit was completed with silk pants in pastel blue and a pair of pale pink stiletto pumps. I don't know what stiletto pumps are, but yeah, she said that. Anita remembers clearly that during the entire car ride, she was mentally constructing a checklist of definite conversational no-nos, no and no's in this situation. Have you ever created a conversation in your mind before speaking to someone? To your boss, maybe? Sometimes to your parents? Yeah? So does she like and wears beautiful traditional coats? No. No, don't tell them that you prefer jeans, sneakers, and hiking boots. This is what is going in her mind. Modest appearance, good manners, this should be all right. Perfect prospective daughter-in-law mode. These are the all questions she's thinking in her mind that I need to be checklist about these. Internally, she was creating another checklist. Things not to mention, and she was also making a list of the things that she don't want to mention. Don't mention that you hardly visit the temple except during festivals. Maybe don't discuss your unusual taste in music. Definitely don't get too excited about art, astronomy, and stargazing. And perhaps this is not the ideal moment to announce. By the way, I'd really like to backpack across Europe, cycle through Africa, and work on social development projects around the world. So she's thinking in her mind, this is not, the good aspects of a good daughter-in-law. So she shouldn't be mentioning these things at all. Better keep that for later. But Anita knew there was one thing that might impress the prospective mother-in-law. She had recently mastered an extremely important life skill that she knew will please her prospective mother in law, and that is she could roll a perfectly round chapati, right? I remember a funny incident as well of my life personally. I remember how my parents were so happy when I rolled the rotis and when I was expert in making rotis. And my mother even told me a story that her dad, which is my nana, my grandfather, he used to say that if you want to know how good a girl is in housework, check her roti. You know, who else is here, whose parents is so happy to see make roti? Yeah, many parents in India till now they make sure that the girl knows how to make roti and it should be round. So Anita laughs. Forget photography, forget Machu Picchu, forget changing the world. The chapati was ready to carry the entire marriage proposal for her. And Anita genuinely thought she had prepared for everything. But she had forgotten one small detail. When the waiter arrived at the restaurant, they were meeting at the restaurant for another family. Anita confidently ordered, I'll have a tuna sandwich. And there was a complete silence there within the families. The words, I have a tuna sandwich, had barely left her lips when the prospective groom's mother shot a look at me, and that felt as though it was boring through the core of my being. So, as her family's eye. So, this is how the silence felt so deep for Anita that she felt she's explaining it as a core of her being. Anita said, I just sat there wishing that the floor would open up and swallow me. This is how, in that moment, she was feeling. I felt so stupid for my mistake. How could I not have noticed or even considered that they could be vegetarian? I chastised myself over and over again. The prospective groom's family were strict vegetarians. So we can laugh at this incident, but look underneath the humor. So, how Anita is explaining, before even entering that meeting, Anita had already decided I cannot show them the complete me. I'm not comfortable bringing the whole me in front of them. So, she started editing herself, removing her certain interest, hiding certain dreams, changing how she dressed, changing how she spoke, presenting the version of herself that she believed would be more acceptable. So, I believe this part of Anita's story is asking us to look inside. Do we ever edit ourselves to become more acceptable to someone? Yes. At what point then this adjustment become self-rejection? That's the most important. When do we keep giving our so much of ourselves that we start rejecting ourselves and then we are just come in people pleasing, making other people, be it your partner, be it your parents, be it your boss, or be it anyone else um, close to you. So, second slides, Chandra, please. Yeah. So eventually, after this episode, one matchmaking attempt worked. Anita met a young man she liked. He was tall, handsome, and well spoken. There was a mutual attraction. But after meeting only twice, they had to decide whether they wanted to become engaged before they could spend more time together. And they said yes. Suddenly, everything seemed perfect to her. There was a religious engagement ceremony at Guru Nanak Temple. I think she meant Gurudwara. So, family, friends, blessings, dinner, music, dancing, celebrations. And Anita remembers feeling wonderfully happy that she got finally engaged. But notice why she was so happy. Why was she happy? Any guesses? You can use the chats. What made her so happy that she is now getting engaged? She is making her parents happy, please her parents. Yes, that's the reason. That finally I am doing the right thing and that is making my parents happy. And even more importantly, she felt that finally everyone is going to accept me. Now, this is the acceptance. So, her question, where do I belong? She is now feeling that this is the place I belong. Now, this is it, that everyone is happy, and here am I. So, we need to ask, is everyone is happy with me or I am happy? This is the question we need to constantly ask ourselves. Are we making others happy or I am happy? Next slide, Chandra, please. Now, as the wedding came closer, Anita began seeing something she had not wanted to see earlier. She was not naturally the person her fiance and his family expected her to become. She is, she will not fit in that traditional daughter-in-law mold. So now the engagement is done, and as the time is passing, she's feeling she will not fit in the daughter-in-law mold the way their in-laws wanted. So she tried harder. Now it's her attempt to, make them happy. She tried to become more traditional, more accommodating, more suitable, more acceptable. She genuinely wanted to please them. But the harder she tried, the more she felt she was failing. So, this is her words. I felt so disappointed in myself during this time. I kept wondering, why is this so difficult for me? What's wrong with me? Others do it so easily. People are getting engaged and married all the time, including all of my friends. Why am I struggling so much with the idea? I felt powerless and worthless. I felt like such a failure. I was ready to admit defeat because I knew I couldn't go through with it any longer. I was so scared to tell anyone and for the reaction I was going to get if I did. I was so scared of getting married and of breaking it off. So, can you see the emotions? She's feeling powerless, worthless, scared. She's going through so many emotions. So, all through her life, it's been, such a journey. I am thinking that because she has expressed, now she's writing, that we are able to comprehend what she has went through. The problem with our lives is we have never seen it so deeply. We are just running in the life. We are just living it without thinking, are we really happy? Are we fearful? Are we scared? Do we ever feel worthless? Do we? And these are in, if you see in her story, there is no major event until now. Has it been? Every girl has to go through this, or every boy as well in India has to go through this, matchmaking thing. And every time it's there were instances that you like someone, you don't like someone, and there is so much mental turmoil that goes on in these little events of our life that we don't recognize. So Anita's story, I guess, is today is realizing us that yes, it may seem all good from outside, but we need to closely monitor our life and keep us asking, are we operating from fear or are we operating from love? So then Anita said, she looked at her friends getting married and wondered, why can everyone else do it and why is this so difficult for me? Eventually, she began feeling powerless, worthless, and like a total failure. She didn't tell her family, as once again, I didn't want them to think of me as a problem, she said. She put on a brave front, appearing to be happy and always smiling because she didn't want to burden others with her emotional pains and fears. So eventually, Anita admitted something to herself that was painful but liberating. Much of what she had been doing was an act. She knew she could probably continue performing that role, but then she would have to perform it for the rest of her life. She realized I'd end up spending my entire life trying to be someone I wasn't, and perhaps even worse. No matter how hard she tried, she was always feeling that she was falling short. So one day, she went to her mother and burst into tears. She said, she told her mother all the story that she don't want to go through this marriage and she want to break the marriage. To her surprise, her mother said, her mother hugged, my mother hugged me and said, don't cry, darling. Just tell me everything that's troubling you. I'm not ready, Mum. I have dreams and I want to travel the world and do different things. And I just can't bear the thought that I'm not going to ever have the independence again to do all the things I want to do. Have you ever had a feeling of butterflies in your stomach? That you desperately, you really want to say something and it becomes so hard, and it feels, I think in this moment Anita is feeling that the life is slipping out of her hands, is just going. So her mother told her that she wasn't going to force her and apologized to her for not understanding her feelings. She then told about her conversation with her mother to her brother, and who also felt bad and said that he wished she could have shared her feelings with him earlier. And then Anita said something profound. But I didn't realize I had a choice after the engagement. And I remember telling him tearfully. So I didn't know I had a choice. So there is this small sentence which, in my opinion, is extremely powerful. Just think about that. Technically, she always had a choice. We all always have a choice, don't we? But nobody had physically taken that choice away. But psychologically, she didn't feel that she had one. And this is all because of her childhood as well. And it isn't that sometimes true in our lives too. We say, I have to keep everyone happy. I have to stay in this situation. I have to be in this job. So when we say have to, that means we are ourselves taking our choice away from ourselves. But sometimes I have to actually means I'm afraid of what will happen if I don't. Right? Many times I say I have to because we are scared inside what will happen if we don't do it. Is there anything in our life that we believe we have to do when perhaps what we really mean is that we are afraid to choose differently? So, do you have any example where you want to share that there was a similar situation in your life that you said have to, and you realized later that you could have chosen differently? Any example? Can you think of something? Anyone? Where you have done something by saying I have to because you were afraid if you don't do it, it won't go as per plan or anything. Yes, Nilamaji. Anything?
Like I wanted to become a player only, but my mother said ki nahi, there is no scope in games and all that time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So you concentrate in your studies. Games are just side activities, just for entertainment and just for like that.
Yes.
So never allowed to participate in open tournaments and all. Only school, college level, it was okay, but
Yes.
not in open
Not for
tournaments.
the tournaments. Yes.
Yeah.
So if we give another thought, I think we all of us will find, one or the other example in our lives as well where we have, done that. So the family supported Anita finally. The family supported her, mother supported her, her brother supported, but the society didn't. Her immediate family stood beside her, but the wider community reacted very differently. Relatives and community members told her, go through with the wedding. You'll be fine afterwards. If you break the engagement, your reputation will be ruined. No other family will want you. So, they were telling her, no one will marry you. No family will accept you as a bride if you break this engagement. Your expectations are too high. Lower them. Become an obedient wife and daughter-in-law, and then you'll have a good life. So it was a criteria to have a good life. And now something very painful happened, and this is in Anita's words. I felt absolutely terrible for hurting everyone as I stood my ground. When I heard what people were beginning to say about me, I felt terrible about my decision and afraid for my future. People said that I wasn't domesticated enough, that I was spoiled, and that my parents hadn't brought me up properly. They also said that to be able to do something like that as a woman, I had too high an opinion of myself. I felt awful and sad. I didn't want to socialize within our culture anymore. I regretted everything I'd done, from getting engaged to breaking off the engagement, for hurting my fiance and his family, for hurting my family, for not being domesticated enough, for not being Indian enough. In fact, I regretted everything about myself. So, see how she is taking all the responsibility on herself. Why am I always apologizing? Why do I have to apologize just for being me? I just couldn't understand what was wrong with me. I couldn't bear all the explaining I had to do and the people I had to deal with. So, just days before the wedding was to take place, with everything bought and paid for, all the arrangements made, I ran away. I went on a long trip to see some of my old friends in India and the UK. I just wanted to disappear. I knew that the next phase of my life wasn't going to be easy. So this is not her fault. I think this is all Indian upbringing. I don't know about the Asians. I haven't lived in their culture, but in Indian especially for the women, they from the early childhood they tell that it's your responsibility to make your in-laws happy, to make your fiance happy. वो कहते हैं ना पति परमेश्वर, like your husband is like your God, just, make him happy. And this is all the responsibility she's feeling, and she ran away from the marriage. So, with this, we end the reading. But I think what the chapter is saying, or this, that on the surface, it is about matchmaking and engagement that did not work. But underneath, it is something much deeper. Anita was constantly caught between two sides. She wanted to belong, but belonging often seemed to require her to hide parts of herself, and she lost her authenticity. She wanted approval, but getting approval sometimes meant giving up her freedom. She had dreams of her own, but those dreams were competing with other people's expectations. And she was trying to play all the roles expected of her: the good daughter, the good Indian girl, the suitable bride, while somewhere underneath her true self was always asking to be seen. Anita herself was disappearing. She was apologizing for being her. So the question for us is again is how much of myself or ourself we can give away before we stop recognizing who we are. So there is nothing wrong with compromise. There is nothing wrong with responsibility. There is nothing wrong with respecting family, culture, relationship, or all the traditions. But then again, always ask yourself, am I adjusting from love, or am I erasing myself from fear? So this is the question keep on coming, and we will seeing in Anita's book is always whenever you are doing, and I will repeat this again throughout the book so that it goes in our subconscious mind, that always whenever you have to take a decision, whenever you are acting, and whenever you're conscious of your actions, just always think, am I doing this out of love and I'm okay with it, I'm in ease with it, or I'm doing out of fear or scared of something? So this is when you keep on asking this question, you will see that there are parts of your life that will reveal itself when you will know that this is the fear or the love. And our universal energy is love energies, the oneness energies. But this question needs to be keep on prompting in your mind while you are living this life. So So, because sometimes discovering dying to be me begins by recognizing all the small ways in which we have stopped allowing ourselves to be me. So, we need to keep on asking, is it from fear, or is my actions are from love? So, with this, we will end our today's reading, and we are open for questions. So, yes, Chandra. What is the question? In which year this matchmaking story happening? Her birth year is 1959, maybe early 1980s. Yes, it doesn't say the exact year when it is happening, but she says in her adulthood, maybe. Yes. Yeah. I practiced this weekend. Am I doing this because of fear of love? Wonderful. Would you like to share your story, Shweta? What was the incident? In which scenario did you apply so that it helps everyone to, also start asking this question?
So I think so this weekend, like I was just talking to my husband, so we were just conflicting about a few things at home. So I asked him, I said, like, you also ask this thing to yourself, like, are you doing this just because of love, or just because of the fear of the, or maybe the pressure because of the family? So he actually got this thing, because
That's
few things we actually do just because of the fear not to disappoint parents, not to disappoint siblings, and that actually creates the relationship not building up so well, right?
yes.
So yeah, so I think it helped, at least me it helped, because
Yes.
then I could focus why I am doing it. I mean, like, I really have to do that, or I
Yes.
just have to keep or just please others, and it's
Yes.
not me then.
Yes. Yes, thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Yeah,
And it's a wonderful experience if we can start bringing, actually, especially our children, if we can teach our children to keep asking this question, and it will eventually come in the family. Like if you ever notice donations, we do donations because we want to do, we have fear that, we should be doing something good to clear off our karmas. Sometimes we do donation only because of that reason, isn't it? But we need to, do we need to actually help someone, and we are coming from that love that it will benefit someone, or we are just doing donations so that we think, it will clear off some of our karmas, isn't it? So it is such a profound question, and it applies in so many areas. And I strongly believe if we keep asking this, it's going to help us to live a better, happy life, because then it will come from, the heart. Yeah. Anyone else have any question or experience sharing or any thought?
Yeah, this I like. You said universal energy is love.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. This is so
Yes.
profound.
Yes. Yes, Chandra.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me add spotlight. Yeah, just a reflection basically. I like Anita's mother character
Yes.
because in previous chapter as well, when she was asking about religion, and then she was patiently explaining what different religions and how they combine together into one. And even in this chapter, when she was crying, because in those times, parents usually order something, they don't usually listen.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that at least one of the parents is
Yeah.
listening, and then
Yes.
this thing. So that is
Yes.
something we should practice as well. When kid is upset, we should listen first and then react.
Yes. Yes. That's right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Chanda. Yes, her father wasn't that. I think when her father was later too against it, but then he agreed to her photography as well. So that was one good thing. But I think the sometimes parents are not able to change because of their childhood. The traditions are so badly inbuilt in them that even if they try, they are not able to.
Yeah,
So we also need to practice that we should not, like, things happen, and we should not blame parents for any certain behavior. All we can do is just make our life better, since um, the wisdom or the consciousness or the subconsciousness come to us. That is my understanding.
yeah,
Yes.
I think it's sometimes it's like the parents are under pressure from the society.
Yes.
Like they also do few things with out of fear, like what others will say, what others our
Yeah.
relatives will say. Like it was mentioned in the chapter,
Yeah.
the relatives and family friends, they come and they are saying like why you're doing this, why you're breaking up the relationship, right?
Yeah.
So
Like in Anita's story as well, she said that finally her parent accepted, but then the society didn't let her live.
yeah,
Why are you
that's
doing this and this and this? So this is, the parents feel the same pressure
yeah,
as well, and then it comes to the children.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I just want to make an announcement. Everyone, sorry, there will be a meditation tomorrow. There will be no book reading. It's my son's birthday. And we had organized the movie tickets, which I didn't realize at that same time. Sorry about that. So we will miss tomorrow's book reading, and we'll resume on Wednesday. Yeah. And next is she found her love finally. And finally there was some peace in her life. So we will know about that. And thank you, Shweta. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So, Chandra, we are ready for, I think, meditation.